Are you wondering if you should grow your microgreens indoors or outdoors? Trust me, choosing the right setup can make or break your results. I've done both, and today we're gonna break down exactly what works the best. And stick around because later in this video, I'm gonna reveal one fact most microgreen growers completely forget about, and it can destroy an entire crop if you're not careful. Hi, I'm Connor Hebel, and if I sound a little quiet, I'm traveling and there's a couple people still sleeping, so I'm gonna be kind of quiet while I give you the best information. So let's get into it. Indoor microgreen growing. This is how I prefer to grow my microgreens. It's a lot easier, and you're not gonna have to worry about bugs because they're all outside. Unless you happen to have pests inside, then that can be kind of tricky. The great thing about growing microgreens indoors, you don't have to worry about bugs. If you have aphids, as long as they're outside, they're not going to be affecting your microgreens. And it's so amazing not to have to worry about this after I've gardened and I live in Florida and there's bugs everywhere. So as soon as your crops grow, the bugs like them. You get full control over your temperature, humidity, and light. And this is really important because if your microgreens aren't growing right, it's easy to adjust and adapt and make sure that they grow correctly. It can be a simple adjustment in the light, or the humidity, or the temperature. You can also give it more water or less water. That way it's all controlled and exactly what it needs to thrive. Here's one of my favorite things about growing microgreens. You can grow microgreens year-round. It could be snowing outside and you can still have fresh live vegetables in 7 days. It could be super dry. You could be in a drought and still grow your microgreens. So it's super cool because anyone can grow their microgreens anywhere. As long as you have good water, you have soil, and you have seeds, you can grow your microgreen. Some indoor cons. One, if you start investing in lighting and a shelf and all the things that your bigger microgreen farms have, then it will cost you a bit. But even then, it's pretty affordable to be growing your own microgreens at a bigger scale. When you're just starting out, just put it next to a window and you won't have many of the upfront costs. Another thing could be electricity cost, which shouldn't be any different than what you're already growing, but I thought I'd add it in here because you will want to make sure that your temperature is 65 to 70 degrees. It helps reduce the risk of mold in your microgreens. Which, if you would like a video on how to reduce mold in microgreens, please let me know and I'll create it. So comment down below, comment mold if you want a video specific on mold and microgreens. Another thing is space limitations in homes and apartments. Great thing about microgreens, they take up about that much space. So you can really grow them anywhere from RVs, boats, even NASA's grown them up in space. So if NASA can grow them up in space, if there's a small limitation on your space, pun intended, then if NASA can do it, you can do it too. And so even though it does take up some space, it's not gonna take up a lot of space. And have you ever seen the Dairy Queen where they turn the blizzard up and it doesn't fall out? After about day 5, if you were to take your microgreen tray that you haven't harvested, turn it upside down, the roots will have been in place and it won't fall out. And this is really cool to do. It's really fun, especially when I'm talking with someone who has an RV or a boat. I'm like, look at this. This is something you can just put into a pantry if you're starting to move and you want to make sure that it stays. And if you turn it, it's not even gonna get messy. So as far as pros and cons, there are a lot of pros to growing your microgreens indoors, and there are very little cons. Another one that I would like to mention is that when you grow your microgreens indoors, you're able to make sure that the sunlight is just right. So that way it's not frying your microgreens or they're not in too much shade. And if they are, go ahead and get a grow light. I'll put a link in the description for a couple that I like, and go ahead and do your own research. Find the one that works for you. There's so many out there and the world is your oyster. So are you leaning towards indoor growing so far? Drop a sprout emoji if you think that indoor growing is the right one for you. I want to see who's ready to start. And if you're ready to start growing your microgreens, head over to ameliaislandmicrogreens.com/101 for a free 10-part microgreen series where I take you from microgreen beginner to microgreen grower using my 14 years of microgreen growing experience, teaching you the stuff that I wished I had known when I was starting to grow my microgreens. So be sure to head over there and I look forward to that. All right, outdoor growing. This is what a lot of people think of when they think of planting and growing food. And it's really good for your mature vegetables. With microgreens, there's pros and cons, and so let's get into that. So the outdoor pros. Your microgreens are going to be getting natural sunlight, that the windows aren't going to be blocking out anything that could benefit them. This is especially important for windows that are newer, that have gotten tinted. They don't even have to look super tinted in order to not be bringing in some of the light that the microgreens need in through the window. And so I have people who they can't grow their microgreens without a grow light because of the windows that they have. So to be able to be outside is really huge, because then you don't have to worry about that. The other benefit is that your microgreens are getting that direct sunlight, which I believe is really powerful. They're getting all the good stuff from the sun, and the more you can do that, I feel is better. There's of course lower energy costs. You don't have to worry about air conditioning. You just kind of let nature do its course. This can be great for large volume growing if you decide to plant it in your garden bed and that's like your focus. And the one thing about this is with the garden bed, you do have to have space, and it can be very costly up front. So now outdoor cons. The weather is very unpredictable. Like I was mentioning, snow, you're not going to be able to grow outside, or a drought, you may not be able to either. If the sun is super hot, like in the summer, since microgreens are so tender, you can run the risk of them shriveling up. Or if you're getting a lot of rain, then it could be too much water, and then they either mold or they're waterlogged, or it's just not a good situation. So you want to see what it would be like for your particular climate and when would be the best time for you to grow your microgreens. Of course, pests. You have bugs, you have birds, you even have squirrels, there's deer, there's so many things that will eat microgreens. And of course, like we mentioned, you can only grow microgreens during certain months during your climate. You won't be able to grow year-round. And don't worry, I haven't forgotten that critical factor that can wipe out your entire crop. We're almost there. And if you're finding this video helpful so far, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss another amazing microgreen video. All right, so that number one factor that people completely forget about, contamination. I know we live in a world where you are told to wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. And then you go to the bathroom and you realize people aren't washing their hands. It's not something we want to do, and yet it's so important, especially when you're working with food. When you go indoors and outdoors, you can bring contaminants in that may be harmful to your microgreens. And if you don't control cleanliness, your trays, your tools, your hands, mold and disease will shut you down fast. Especially if you're doing this as a microgreen business, you need to make sure that you have cleanliness and are reducing your risk of contamination, because you don't want a lawsuit. And of course, it is important for home growers too. I just want to especially emphasize it for businesses. And always sanitize no matter where you grow. This is where I said a food-grade hydrogen peroxide comes in handy, and I highly recommend cleaning with that. And if you're interested in a video in that, let me know in the comments below, and I'll tailor a video specific to what I do to get food-grade hydrogen peroxide diluted to about 3% and ready for you to use, not only on cleaning your trays, but also if you have mold. It works both ways and it's really helpful. Okay, so now you know how to grow, but do you know what to grow? In the next video, I'll show you the top 5 microgreens that are the easiest to grow so you can get started easily and effortlessly and get growing your microgreens in 7 days. And if you're serious about growing microgreens fast, check out AmeliaIslandMicrogreens.com/101 for my free microgreen masterclass. You don't want to miss it. All right, so now that you know where to grow, let's talk about what to grow. See you in my next video. As always, stay awesome.